7 million years ago, in Argentina, Argentavis magnificens soared through the skies, boasting a wingspan of around 6 meters, twice that of its condor relatives. Argentavis was probably the largest bird to have ever flown, weighing as much as a human, around 70 kilograms, and a large one would look you in the eye if you found it standing on the ground. Argentavis was remarkably heavy in relation to its wingspan, compared, for example, with Pelagornis sandersi, which had a wider wingspan but a much smaller and lighter body. Its enormous beak, capable of swallowing prey whole, and keen eyesight hinted at an active hunting lifestyle, possibly scaring off predators to feast on their prey. Argentavis was an efficient glider. Once airborne, it rarely flapped its wings. Instead, it harnessed updrafts generated when the wind reaches a mountain. It also rode ascending warm columns of air, caused by the heating of the Earth's surface. It went extinct around 6 million years ago, but its descendant, Iolornis incredibilis, which was smaller with a 5 meters wingspan, lived on until about 10,000 years ago, which means it coexisted with humans. Helicoprion, the ancient shark-like fish with a jaw full of twisted teeth, is like something out of a prehistoric horror movie. These freaky creatures had tooth whorls embedded in their lower jaws, creating a spiral slicer. They swam the seas for roughly 20 million years during the Permian period, and their fossils have popped up all over the globe from Russia to the United States. Helicoprion had the largest and most complex tooth whorl of any eugeniodont, with up to 150 teeth in a single coil. In fact, the tooth whorl is the only part of Helicoprion that fossilized, because it had a cartilaginous skeleton, so the rest of its body is mostly unknown. However, based on the shape and size of the whorl, scientists have reconstructed Helicoprion as a shark-like fish that reached up to 25 feet long and weighed up to 1,000 pounds. Helicoprion was a successful predator that survived the Permian-Triassic mass extinction, but eventually went extinct in the early Triassic, leaving behind a mysterious legacy of spiral saws. Let's dive into the fascinating world of terror birds, scientifically known as Forus racids. These intimidating creatures were apex predators during the Cenozoic era, ruling the landscapes of South America for millions of years. Standing between 3 to 10 feet tall, terror birds were the largest carnivorous flightless birds on the continent, and their closest modern relatives are the much smaller seriemas. These apex predators may have even expanded their territory to Africa, with discoveries of related species in Algeria. Their highly flexible neck structures allowed them to strike their prey with tremendous speed and power. Terror birds used their large beaks to inflict damage by pecking, and their powerful legs for kicking and subduing prey. Although the exact nature of their diet remains a topic of debate, one thing is certain: these terror birds were formidable predators during their time. Now let's unravel the mysteries of Andrewsarchus, a truly remarkable creature that existed about 45 million years ago. Although we've only stumbled upon its impressive skull, scientists estimate that this creature stood at a whopping 6 feet tall and stretched out to an impressive 12 feet in length, earning its title as the largest known meat-eating land mammal in history. It's a bit of a twist in its tail. It was originally classified as a giant mesonychid, but recent research revealed its close kinship with hippos and whales. This prehistoric giant offers us a fascinating peek into the past and the surprising connections between Earth's ancient inhabitants. Now let's talk about Sarcosuchus imperator, also known as the flesh crocodile. This massive creature lived during the early Cretaceous, about 133 to 112 million years ago, in Africa and South America. We're talking about some serious prehistoric muscle here, with the big guys reaching 9.5 meters in length and weighing up to a jaw-dropping 4.3 tons. Think of it as a supersized crocodile from the past. Sarcosuchus had some wild features, like an extra-long snout that made up 75% of its skull. Its upper jaw was longer than the lower one, so it had a serious overbite. As for its diet, it was a bit of a foodie, munching on large land critters like the dinosaurs that shared its turf. The discovery of these fossils gives us a window into a world where these ancient giants roamed tropical landscapes. Let's dive into the incredible world of the Megalodon, the ocean's ancient behemoth. This mega-toothed shark was not just big, it was the ultimate heavyweight champion of the seas, earning the title of both the largest shark and the largest fish ever recorded. Fossils tell us it roamed from around 23 million years ago during the early Miocene to about 2.58 million years ago at the end of the Pliocene. Its name, Megalodon, comes from Greek words meaning giant tooth, and that was no exaggeration. Picture a bulky torpedo-shaped fish with a fearsome bite 3 meters wide, making even today's great white sharks look modest. These apex predators feasted on a menu ranging from fish to whales and sirenians. Their decline isn't just about climate, it's a tale of shifting ecosystems, with competition from smaller sharks and increasing numbers of smaller whales like the killer whale. Let's talk about Smilodon, the famous saber-toothed tiger. Now, the name can be a bit misleading because it's not a close relative of the modern tiger, but it's still one incredible predator. Smilodon roamed the Earth during the late Pleistocene, making it relatively recent in the grand scheme of things. It was a bit shorter than today's lions, but packed on the pounds. And here's the interesting part, it had a unique bobtail. Unlike modern big cats that can go on long chases, Smilodon was more of an ambush artist. It would quietly wait for the perfect moment to pounce on its prey. What sets Smilodon apart even more is its social life. Fossils show that some of these cats had some pretty severe injuries and diseases, but they survived. It's likely they received care or were allowed to share a meal by their fellow saber-toothed pals. Yeah, Smilodon wasn't a lone wolf, it lived in packs, much like today's lions. They weren't always peaceful though. There's evidence of occasional catfights over food and mates. And here's a fascinating tidbit. Smilodon could roar, which is pretty unique among cats. Let's talk about Meganeura, the colossal dragonfly of the late Carboniferous era, soaring through the skies around 300 million years ago. These ancient insects, with wingspans spanning a whopping 75 centimeters, are some of the largest known flying insects in history. Fossils of Meganeura were first uncovered in France back in 1880, and their name, Meganeura, translates to large nerved, referring to the intricate network of veins on their wings. Like their modern relatives, they were predators, feasting on other insects and small amphibians and vertebrates. They sported spiky legs, acting like flying traps to capture their prey. But what allowed these insects to grow so massive? Some theories suggest it was due to the high oxygen levels in the Carboniferous atmosphere, but they would struggle to survive in today's air. It's a fascinating glimpse into the past, where a lack of aerial predators and unique evolutionary pressures led to the rise of these colossal dragonflies. Arthropleura, the colossal ancient millipede, roamed North America and Europe 345 to 290 million years ago, during the late Carboniferous and early Permian periods. Some of these incredible creatures reached an astonishing 2.5 meters in length, leaving tracks up to 50 centimeters wide. Arthropleura was among the largest arthropods in history, enabled by higher atmospheric oxygen levels during the Carboniferous period and the absence of substantial land-based predators. Their enigmatic head with non-filamentous antennae and trumpet-like organs make them fascinating. Although Arthropleura's diet consisted of mostly plants, it is likely that they also were detritivores, which means they ate dead organic matter like their modern cousins, the millipedes. It's believed that the extinction of Arthropleura was influenced by the diversification of land-living vertebrates and the drought of the equator. Dunkleosteus is a prehistoric aquatic giant with a name as imposing as its size. The name Dunkleosteus comes from the paleontologist David Dunkel, who first described its fossils. The word osteus is Greek for bone, and it aptly describes the colossal bone plates that form its head and jaws. This formidable creature reached up to 4 meters in length, and it belonged to the class Placodermi, a group of armored prehistoric fish. The most famous Dunkleosteus fossils come from the Cleveland Shale in northern Ohio, but specimens have been discovered in various parts of North America, Europe, and even Morocco. These fish lived in the late Devonian period, around 382 to 358 million years ago. They were toothless, but their massive self-sharpening jaw plates formed terrifying blades that could exert bite forces comparable to giant crocodiles. Dunkleosteus could chomp through the toughest of prey, and evidence even suggests they might have turned to cannibalism. Sadly, these apex predators faced their doom during the Devonian mass extinction. Now let's talk about some ancient giants of the avian world. 60 million years ago, there was Kumimanu fordycei, and it was a colossal penguin, weighing in at a whopping 340 pounds and standing around 5 feet 2 inches tall. These massive penguins roamed the waters around New Zealand during a time when the seas were a bit more relaxing with fewer predators to worry about. Their extra bulk helped them stay warm in the water and dive to greater depths with less effort. It also allowed them to capture larger prey. 20 million years ago, giant penguins went extinct, probably due to competition with the newly arrived seals. Let's dive back in time to the Middle Paleocene era, about 60 to 57 million years ago, to meet the colossal Carbonemys kufrini, also known as the giant turtle. It's quite fitting that the name Carbonemys begins with car, given that this Paleocene turtle rivaled the size of a small automobile. Surprisingly, Carbonemys wasn't the largest prehistoric turtle to roam the Earth. The Cretaceous giants Archelon and Protostega, predating it by millions of years, likely outweighed it by twice as much. So, what's the buzz around Carbonemys? Firstly, the spectacle of a turtle the size of a Volkswagen Beetle isn't an everyday occurrence. Secondly, this gargantuan turtle boasted an exceptionally powerful set of jaws, leading paleontologists to speculate that it dined on similarly sized mammals and reptiles, potentially even engaging with crocodiles in its meals. Lastly, Carbonemys shared its South American habitat with the colossal 1-ton prehistoric snake Titanoboa, which under certain circumstances might not have hesitated to include a turtle in its menu. Jaekelopterus renanii was an impressive sea scorpion that could grow up to 8 feet 2 inches long. That's bigger than a full-grown man. In 2007, scientists discovered an 18-inch claw belonging to this species in Germany. They had sharp teeth on their claws, which they used to quickly grab their prey. They had a tight grasp, so would have been able to keep a hold on even the most slippery of prey. What did sea scorpions eat? Well, they were not picky eaters. They would feast on fish, crustaceans, worms, and even other sea scorpions. Sea scorpions were the dominant predators of their time, until they faced competition from fish with jaws and backbones. Some of them adapted to life on land and became the ancestors of modern scorpions. Others went extinct, leaving behind only their fossils as evidence of their existence. Megatherium, the great beast from America, was an extraordinary creature that lived during the Pleistocene era in what is now Argentina, Uruguay, and Bolivia. These ancient sloths were up to 10 times the size of their modern relatives, weighing as much as 4 tons, equivalent to a present-day bull elephant. Standing on its hind legs, Megatherium americanum could reach heights of 3.5 meters, making it the largest bipedal mammal in history. While it had magnificent claws, Megatherium was a vegetarian, a fact confirmed through chemical analysis of its teeth. It's fascinating to note that these enormous sloths coexisted with humans, as evidenced by fossils bearing cut marks suggesting they were on the menu thousands of years ago. Say hello to Megalania prisca, Australia's ancient superstar lizard. It's this massive 5-meter lizard that Sir Richard Owen discovered back in 1859. Imagine it as the cool Aussie cousin of the Komodo dragon, rocking sharp teeth and a much bigger size. Fossils scattered across eastern Australia spill the beans on Megalania's adventures in open forests and woodlands. It might be related to the Australian parentii, but that's a bit like guessing family connections at a big reunion. Megalania was a top-tier predator, munching on kangaroos and maybe hosting prehistoric dinner parties with its pals. Dr. Thomas Rich did some detective work at the Museum of Victoria, piecing together Megalania's skeleton for us to marvel at. Travel back to the late Cretaceous era and meet the Mosasaurus, a marine behemoth reigning over the seas from 101 to 66 million years ago. It became famous after appearing in the Jurassic World movie, like in this scene when it jumped out of water to eat a shark in one bite, splashing water on the amazed audience. Despite its imposing size, reaching over 45 feet and weighing 28,000 pounds, Mosasaurus wasn't a dinosaur but a formidable marine reptile. Armed with 50 cone-shaped teeth in its flexible 6-foot jaws, this carnivorous giant cruised the oceans hunting fish, squid, and other marine reptiles. Mosasaurus had a short, wide body and a long, thin tail that made it a skilled swimmer, adept at prolonged breath-holding. Discovered in 1764 in the Netherlands, Mosasaurus fossils hinted at an ocean-adapted lifestyle. The creature might have birthed live young, a testament to its deep-sea existence. Despite its dominance in the late Cretaceous seas, Mosasaurus vanished with the dinosaurs around 65 million years ago. Megatherium, also known as the Siberian unicorn, lived in Eurasian grasslands from 2.6 million to 40,000 years ago, coexisting with humans. These creatures are renowned for their purportedly massive horn, estimated by some researchers to reach up to 3 meters in length. Other researchers challenged the notion of the horn's size, suggesting it might have been a smaller bump. The uncertainty arose from the absence of horn fossils because keratin usually doesn't fossilize. There's only what seems to be the base of a horn on the fossilized skull. However, there's a cave painting in France that may have depicted this animal with a long horn. Megatherium lived amidst formidable predators like saber-toothed cats, cave bears, lions and hyenas, which makes having a long horn a big advantage, especially for protecting the young. This animal weighed up to 5 tons, a little less than the African bush elephant, but it had long legs a bit like those of a horse, so it must have been a fast runner. The Siberian unicorn's demise may be attributed to its selective eating habits. It failed to adapt during a period of significant climate change, sticking to its diet of tough, dry grass. Today we have only 5 species of rhinos, which are also selective eaters. So may the extinction of the Siberian unicorn be an incentive for us to act quickly and save these species. Ever heard of Terminator pigs? These entelodonts were prehistoric omnivores that lived 38 to 16 million years ago. Originating in Asia, they evolved into large creatures up to 2.1 meters in length. The Terminator pig was not actually a pig, but it shared a common ancestor with modern pigs and other animals such as hippos and camels. It had a massive head and huge tusks. Its skull was covered with bony bumps and flanges that protected its eyes and nose during fights, and also supported its powerful jaw muscles. However, its reign came to an end during the late Oligocene epoch around 16 million years ago. Factors like climate change, shifting ecosystems, and increased competition likely contributed to its extinction. The Earth's cooling climate led to expanded grasslands, reducing food and water resources. New predators outcompeted Terminator pigs, and their large size became a disadvantage. Let's dive into the world of Pulmonoscorpius, a colossal scorpion from the early Carboniferous period in Scotland. This ancient arachnid is like no other, holding the title of one of the largest scorpions ever discovered. Picture this, an estimated length exceeding a whopping 28 inches, making it a true giant in the scorpion world. What's fascinating is that Pulmonoscorpius had features quite distinct from its modern relatives. It sported large lateral eyes and showed no signs of adapting to a burrowing lifestyle. Instead, it was likely a fearsome diurnal predator that roamed the land. With its size and unique characteristics, this prehistoric scorpion stands as a testament to the diverse and intriguing creatures that once inhabited our planet. Gigantopithecus, the colossal ancient ape, reached towering heights of up to 10 feet and weighed a staggering 1,100 pounds. For millions of years, it thrived in the lush tropical forests of southern China, enjoying the perks of being big, like safety from predators and vast territories for food hunting. In fact, its size was so massive that it's often likened to the legendary King Kong. But about 100,000 years ago, as the climate changed, its colossal size turned into a curse. Gigantopithecus, originally a fruit eater, couldn't adapt to the new diet of grass, roots and leaves, which became dominant. If it had been smaller, it might have survived like its orangutan cousins, which have slower metabolisms and can handle scarce food. Gigantopithecus couldn't follow the footsteps of the dinosaurs, who were both enormous and successful for a remarkably long time, before an asteroid brought their reign to an end. The difference might be that mammals like Gigantopithecus have higher metabolic needs, making them more sensitive to environmental changes. If you could bring one of these creatures back to life, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.